Hi, my name is Sandra Taylor, and I'm attending Liberty University, and I'm doing my interpersonal communication project. I'm going to do an introduction. I'm going to identify overarching goals and define enlarging a conversation. I'm going to do background and behavioral blend and define potential barriers and identify noise pollutions and discuss my action plan. Next slide. Interpersonal communication is a subset of communication that happen when people talk and listen in ways that maximize personal presence. This type of communication can take place in families, between friends, during an argument, in a business situation, or even in the classroom. Next slide. There are six features of communicating. You have meaning, which humans live in the world of meaning, and communication is the process. Choice. All communication involves choices. Culture. Culture and communication are intertwined. Ethnicity, gender, age, social class, and sexual orientation always affect communication. Identities. All communication involves negotiating identities for self. Next, conversation. The most influential communication events are conversations. Nexting. The most important single communication is nexting. What can I help to happen next? Next slide. My overarching goal is to be an effective listener and hear the person's story to the end without interrupting so they won't lose their train of thought. Continue to be patient, kind, and genuine, and to always demonstrate empathy for others. Next slide. Enlarging the conversation is being able to have a conversation that involves emphatic listening, nonverbal communication, and self-disclosure. Next slide. Background. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a 45-year-old African American female, raised in a two-parent home, born in Chicago, Illinois, and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm the single mother of two. My son is 24 and my daughter is 15. My son is in the military and my daughter is in high school. I have a bachelor's in social work and I am currently in the master's program for human services counseling. Next slide. Carbonell has a model of human behavior which tells you a little bit about your personality. You be active, outgoing, task-oriented, people-oriented, or passive, reserved. Next slide. Behavioral blend. D is considered active, task-oriented, which you may be directing, driving, dominating, and determined. I is active, people-oriented, which is inspiring, influencing, interacting, impressing, and interested in people. S is passive people-oriented, which you may be stable, steady, shy, or submissive. C is considered passive task-oriented, which you may be cautious, competent, and compliant. What is expected of me after I did my personality test for Uniquely You is SC, which is passive people-oriented and passive task-oriented. This is me is C, I, and S. Passive task-oriented, active people-oriented, and passive people-oriented. Next slide. Positive behavioral blend. Of my own, I like to do things right. I'm not aggressive or pushy. Enjoy large and small crowds. Enjoy good people and prefer quality. Like to interact with others. Prefer peace and harmony. And capable of doing great things with people but need to be more assertive. Next slide. My negative behavioral blend, I need to be more assertive. I may rub people the wrong way in being critical. That's something I found out in my personality test that I didn't know that I was doing. I'm going to work on that. need to be more decisive and direct, and need to be a risk taker, which is something I would love to do because I'm always cautious and careful. Next slide. Potential barriers are barriers that lead to communication becoming distorted, causing confusion and misunderstandings. Next slide. Potential barriers would be nonverbal cues such as body movement, do not sit with the arms folded, maintain a relaxed and approachable stance to welcome the speaker, and a forward lean is interpreted as being more involved. Facial expressions, try not to listen to the speaker with your face frowned. They might feel that you're bored, you're tired, and you have no value, and you're interested in no value in what they have to say. So welcome the speaker with a warm smile. Proximity or space, do not sit too close to the speaker. They may feel you are invading their space and they may shut down. So keep a distance that may be comfortable for the speaker to be more prone to open up. Next slide. Other potential barriers, the use of jargon, which is using special words or expressions that are difficult to understand. Try to use words that the receiver will understand. Distractions. Whether it's at the office or in a client's home, try to meet in a quiet area for privacy. Next slide. Internal noise pollution. Internal distractions are things that people do internally to be a barrier, to build barriers that prevent them from listening effectively. Now, external distractions are sights, sounds, and other stimuli that draw people's attention away from the message. Next slide. Some examples of internal noise pollution I chose were fatigue, perception, reception, attention, and biased listening. Next slide. Some solutions for fatigue would be to listen at level 1 and process the information, and listen at level 2 to make sure you aren't missing any information that you may need. Solution for perception is to be an effective listener, provide support, and assist in talking through the problem. The solution for biased listening would be to keep an open mind and not let our past experiences filter through a present situation. Next slide. External noise pollution would be the ringing of a cell phone, a loud TV, a loud radio. So the solution would be to turn the radio off, TV, turn it down or off, and the cell phone off. Views of outside activity or scenery, and the talker not speaking loudly enough or whispering. Next slide. The solution would be for the outside views to concentrate and focus on what's being said. And if the talker's not speaking loud enough, ask them to speak louder. Next slide. My action plan, I will continue to find ways to be a good communicator. Keep in mind not to be judgmental. Continue to be an effective listener. And I will always ask for clarification if I'm not clear during the conversation. Always be mindful of the barriers that might close the line of communication. Thank you. That is the end of my presentation, and I hope you enjoy.